everyone, and welcome to episode 12, the final episode of my FM21 Beta Battle with me, the United City FM. Welcome back to Leeds. We have a couple more games to go. You can see that my puppy Lottie is with me today. She's usually asleep down here, but today I'm recording at a slightly different time, so she's up and about. So she's going to be my assistant manager, aren't you, puppy? Yep, she's going to assist me today. So she's around, you're around, I'm around. We've got 2 games to play, Sheffield United and then the final game of the season against Manchester City. And things have gone pretty well. So let's go and check out everything that's been going on. So the more eagle-eyed amongst you will figure out that we've had some good results recently. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's go and check in with the league table first. And what we see is we're sitting in 5th place. We've got 2 games to go, and a lot of teams around us have only got 1. So the scenario is, if we can beat Sheffield United in this upcoming match, we will secure 5th place, because Tottenham then won't be able to catch us, and Chelsea won't be able to catch us either. So that's the intention for today. Go all out to get the points against a dropping Sheffield United. Remember, they were up with us in and around that sort of 5th, 6th mark, and they've dropped off considerably. If we go and look at their recent run of form, there is their schedule, and you can see this big patch here has caused them all sorts of problems, including a 3-1 loss to us recently, and this is our chance to play them at their patch. So we've got a good chance today of really securing this 5th place, which is far and above beyond what I thought we were going to get. Anywhere 10th and above I would have been happy with, but 5th is pretty special, really. Although I would suggest that a few people have said that FM21's beta has been a little bit easy, a little bit overpowered on the attacking front. So we'll have to check out on the official launch, which in theory happens tomorrow. We'll see whether they've addressed that at all and changed the balance of it. But for now, we focus solely on Leeds, and we've got a real good chance of securing that 5th place. You can see that whilst form has been a bit patchy recently, the losses against the likes of Man City, Arsenal and Manchester United, we have actually really been pretty good in the last couple of games. We got a 2-1 win against a crunch match against Newcastle United, this one here, and then we followed it up with an absolutely surprising 2-0 win against Liverpool. If we go and click in on it, should I say, and let's go and see if we can find the Liverpool side that played. And here we go. You can see that they had 1 or 2 changes in there, but they were still fairly strong. You know, Firmino, Mane, the likes of Thiago and Matip and Alexander-Arnold and Robertson and Adrian all played. So it wasn't like they were taking it easy on us at all. And they played pretty well. I mean, you know, let's not beat about the bush. They had more attempts than we did, but they didn't manage to get as many on target. It was quite a low XG type of game, and we pulled off 2 great goals and actually came away with the 3 points, which was most surprising to me, and in terms put us 3 points ahead of the curve, as it were, for the run-in that we were expecting. So Sheffield United are back as the opponents today, and it gives us a really, really great opportunity, as I've already said, to cement this 5th place finish. So let's go and see if we can manage that. So it's been quite a settled side and tactic and formation for quite some time now, really. And I would suggest if we can keep everybody fit from today's match, then this will be the team that plays in the next match as well. And we'll just go full board trying to get as many points as we can out of these last 2 games. And today is the crunch one, isn't it? Man City to follow, going to be a tough game. And today we need to see if we can get the points. So nothing has changed in terms of tactic and formation, and style of play hasn't been a change in that for a little while now. It's been quite settled. You can see all the relationships between the players on the pitch are working and getting better as we go along, so that's really great as well. And it means that for today's match against Sheffield United, we have a team of Meslier in goal, Ayling at right back, Dallas at left back, Llorente and Koch in central defence, Click, Phillips and Rodrigo in central midfield, with Costa on the right, Hernandez on the left, and Bakker up top, with a bench of Cooper, Janmat, Davis, Forshaw, Rafinha, Harrison and Bamford. So let's get into today's first game and see what happens. So calmly we've suggested that Sheffield United are on a dip in form. 3 of the last 5 games they've lost, and we need to pile on their misery today really and worry about ourselves. So we're going to go into the game and see how we can do in this first sort of 15-20 minutes of the game before making any changes. We're going to pause it just for a second because I always know we have to come in here and readdress the camera zoom on the highlights. We've done that, so into the game we go, and let's just see if we can get a good performance following up from amazing wins against Newcastle and Liverpool recently. So it's a long clearance by Sheffield United's goalkeeper, but we win the header at the back. Llorente has been an absolute powerhouse, winning lots and lots of aerial duels at the back there. Rodrigo takes over at the top of the penalty area off to Costa, and it's dropped back to Click, and he's piled it in from 20 yards out, a 7-minute goal, and we take a brilliantly early lead, and he's done that quite recently a couple of times. Click, his long shot is improving immensely, and when he finds himself at the top of the box, he often pulls the trigger, and when it comes off, it looks pretty spectacular. And there is another one of his spectacular moments, and we take a 1-0 lead. Fantastic early goal, which will settle the nerves down, and we can go into the shouts and just keep everybody focused on the game. It upset a few people that I asked for focus, but we can't afford to give them any sniff of anything. So we get a chance again for a highlight down the left-hand side. It's dropped into Dallas, who's on the underlap, of course, as the fullback. And he puts a slightly wide effort at goal, and it goes out for no danger to the keeper for a goal kick. But he's worked really well as that underlapping fullback. Been very impressed by him this season. And again, it's a chance for us on the left-hand side to take a throw-in and keep possession of the ball. We don't manage it. We put a loose ball into that central midfield, and then they try and go over the top, and they do it. Mousset gets into the box, but again, Llorente with a really good block. And again, he shows that he's a real powerhouse in that defence, and we almost shot ourselves in the foot. From midfield, we tried to drop it back to a defender, and there was an attacker between the two. He took the ball, had a shot at goal. We managed to parry it round the side of the post, and the corner comes in, and we get it cleared, and we again created our own issue. That's been a real story through this season, that we keep causing ourselves issues and piling on the pressure to ourselves, which is disappointing. We'd have to improve the consistency of our lessening our mistakes if we were to continue with this series. Again, another mistake, and it leads to a goal. Now, why did he do it? He was well clear on that left-hand side. He could have dropped it into midfield. He decided to drop it back to a defender, and in between them was an attacking player, and it's Rodrigo. Turns, spots that there's a player there, and decides to play for the opposition, it felt like. And Mousset gets in between the defender and the ball, nicks the ball, first time shot, and we go 1-1 just before half time. And you'll remember last episode, I think it was similar, wasn't it? On the last episode where Meslier gave a goal away, and it caused us no end of problems, and we've done it to ourselves again. But we're in at half time at 1-1, so now we're going to have to push them a little bit, I think, because that wasn't quite what I was looking for. So we're going to thrash the arms around. I'm far from pleased what I've just seen, and send them straight back out. Just check that nobody's got a fitness issue, and they haven't. So we'll leave the team for a minute, and then we'll go into the shouts, and we'll demand more from them. But it's a Sheffield United throw-in that eventually we win the ball back, and Costa gets a great opportunity to run down the right-hand side. And is this going to be a second yellow card for O'Connell for Sheffield United? Oh, it's Basham, sorry. No, it is O'Connell, and he gets sent off with a couple of minutes of the second half gone, and we get an advantage now. So we're going to pause the game just for a second. We're in the positive mentality. I'm going to up that to attacking, and just see in the next sort of 10-15 minutes if we can get a couple of opportunities now that we've got that extra man. But again, it's Sheffield United with their throw, and again we win the ball, and now we get a chance to clear our lines, but it's wasted again, straight to the defence, with a long ball over the top, which is not our style of play at all, and we give the ball away. It feels like at this level with the Leeds United players, some of them not quite as good as you'd hope they would be, and they don't always follow the instructions to the letter, and when they don't, it causes a problem. That that sense, we got a ball up to Bakker that time, and he held on to it, got a decent attempt away, but they managed to clear the ball and didn't cause them any danger in the end. So at 72 minutes, we've paused the game. Going to go and see if we can make a couple of substitutions. Costa is looking dead on his feet almost, so he'll come out. Got to take away one of these yellow cards, and the anxiety from Ayling suggests that we should take him out, so we'll do that. I'm going to take a chance and leave Llorente in there because I want to freshen up this central midfield a little bit, and Forshaw is there, so we're going to take Phillips out and we're going to put Forshaw in that holding midfield role. He's done very well for us when we've called upon him, so that's no problem for me to do that at this point. I trust him, and we'll just see whether we can get another couple of opportunities in the last few minutes of the game in about sort of, oh no, they get through again, but the goalkeeper this time stands up tall and wins the duel. In a couple of minutes, I was going to say I'm going to up the attacking mentality. I'm going to do it now to very attacking and just see if that can help us to unlock them in the last few minutes of the game. And it's Raphinha with a brilliant free kick. The substitute that came on, left-footed from, about 30 yards out, had a brilliantly placed free kick in terms of the position on the pitch, and he left-footed puts it into that top corner, and the goalkeeper scrambles across but doesn't quite get there, and with 5 minutes to go, we take a 2-1 lead, and I'm going to take down the mentality to balanced, and we'll just see if we can see this game out. A couple of minutes left, but it's Sheffield United on the ball. They sweep it all the way across to Bulldog on that right-hand side, cuts inside, and they found the left-hand side. Stevens with plenty of space, and it's Meslier again that saves us at the near post, and we boot it clear on the rebound, and it's a throw-in for Sheffield United right down in the corner flag area, and they get one more chance, and they mess it up. They throw it straight to Raphinha. He goes up to Bakker. Bakker holds up the ball very nicely at that point, and we are ticking down to the final whistle. Few seconds left, and we get a 2-1 win over Sheffield United, and that secures 5th place in the Premier League for Leeds United, with one game to go that we will play in a moment. So we're going to come out the dressing room. We're not going to overanalyze the performances today because we've got the double header, so we're just going to say well done lads, that was a great win for us, and continue on and just go in and have a look in that the Premier League table, and you can see now we have a 6-point gap back to Tottenham, so they can't catch us, and we've got a 7-point gap back to Chelsea, and they can't catch us either. So 5th place is secure. Unfortunately, with one game left, we cannot catch Arsenal ahead of us. So we have got 5th place in the Premier League, and prematurely, with one game still to go against a very tricky side, we've qualified for the Euro Cup, of course. And the budgets for next season, even though we're not going to play it, it's interesting to see how they changed, because we had like a few million in the pound in the bank at the beginning of the game because of the virus, of course. 66 million to spend the manager would have next season, with a slightly increased wage budget as well, which is good. But earlier than I anticipated, I'm able to say this is what we've set Bielsa for a challenge. We have set 5th place for him in real terms to try and match us. Spoiler alert, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And I think I've got this one in the bag. We've had a slightly easy beta, it feels like. And I think that we've got a really very good result with what we had. And that is going to be almost impossible for Bielsa to match. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll be back in May next year to make another video just to catch up once his season has finished, to see how it all panned out and whether I or he won the beta battle. So look out for that video coming up later in the cycle of FM21. But for now, we've still got one more game to play. Though we have picked up a couple of minor injuries and another issue to talk about. But the minor issues are for the likes of Robin Koch, who have been brilliant playing alongside Llorente in the centre of defence. But Cooper comes in today and is a perfectly able replacement. He started the season as our number 1 choice, so that's not too bad. The other issue that we've basically got is that we have lost Harrison, because Harrison is on loan from Man City, and they're our opponents today. today, so he can't play. So we've had to bring Wilshere onto the bench, who hasn't really hit the heights. He's had too many long-term injuries, has 2, which took him out of the campaign for about 11 weeks in total, I think. And in between times, didn't quite catch any form, so he's struggled a little bit, but he's back on the bench. And so those are the major changes. Koch is on the bench, but I don't want to risk him to play because I don't want him breaking down halfway through the first half and reshuffling. So we'll see how that gets on. But everybody else remains the same. So again, for this particular match against Man City, the team that we have is Meslier in goal, Ayling at right back, Dallas at left back, Llorente and Cooper in central defence, Click, Phillips and Rodrigo in central midfield, with Costa on the right, Hernandez on the left and Bakker up top, with a bench of Koch, Janmaat, Davis, Forshaw, Wilshere, Rafina and Bamford. So here we go for the last game of the season. Let's go and see how we get on. So I've just asked them to carry on where they were at before, really. There's no pressure on us at all today. We've got absolutely nothing to lose and pretty much nothing to win either. We have secured our 5th position in the Premier League. And Man City are playing a couple of youngsters here and there through their side. So there's a couple of opportunities maybe to find a weak link in their setup. But even if we don't, that's absolutely fine today. It's all about celebrating the fact that we've had a really, really great season, really done better than I thought we were going to, and finally come out the other end with a 5th place finish. So we get a highlight, but we take it too long too early, and it's regained by Man City. And there's a chance for Ferran down that left-hand side to cut into the box, and it's well blocked, but the second cross comes in. And they set it back really nicely from Jesus to Gundogan, and he powers it home from a distance, and it goes into the back of the net for a 1-0 lead. After 23 minutes, the first cross was blocked there. Jesus gets onto the second one, drops it back, and it's a really, really good, powerful strike. Meslier scrambles across, doesn't quite make it, and we go 1-0 down. But a highlight straight from kickoff at 24 minutes. Hopefully we can rebound quickly and do something with this. It's Click onto Bakker. Costa takes over down the right-hand side, but cuts in on his left foot, and then we lose the ball in that defensive midfield area for Man City. And again, it's Ferran Torres down that left-hand side who comes away with the ball for them, and he gets a chance to run. We have a couple of nibbles at him, but don't quite manage to get the ball off of him, and they maintain possession, and that's a great ball from De Bruyne through the heart of our defence, right into the on-running Gundogan, and he this time from slightly closer in than the last one, makes no mistake and gets a second goal, unless there is any issue coming up in the highlight that suggests there was an offside or anything. I don't think there was, and I think it was just poor defending and good running from him from central midfield. And De Bruyne is always going to be able to find that kind of pass, isn't he, if you let him. So we go 2-0 down, but again, I'm kind of chilled out about it, really. There's nothing we can do now. We haven't lost a place. We haven't gained a place. It's all perfectly fine. We've had the most amazing campaign, and we can let Man City have their day if they want, and we'll fight for it as much as we can. We'll make a couple of substitutions later. We might even up the intensity a little bit. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And it's not going to happen, is it? Because there is Kevin De Bruyne doing what Kevin De Bruyne does. And he now gets on the score sheet at 3-0 after 37 minutes. Yeah, could be a bit of a pasting. So I'm thinking at half-time we might change the shape a little bit and see if we can negate some of that slightly and drop a man slightly deeper in midfield and hold that sort of defensive midfield area a little bit. So we'll possibly do that. But other than that, it's just Man City being good, isn't it, really? And we're not quite at the races. You can see that we've only had one shot at goal and it wasn't on target. And they've had 11 and 5. And so they're well worthy of their lead. But we'll go into the dressing room. We'll put our hands together and we'll say, I expect to see a better performance in the second half. Then we'll go into the tactics and we'll go into our second style of play, which is a 4-3-3, but it just drops Phillips into that holding midfield role. So we'll go and do that and see what that brings us in the second half. But whatever happens at this point, it's fine. We'll just pack our suitcase early and get out before the end of the game and beat the rush and go on the holiday and let everybody else figure out what happens next. But Yeah, it's just Man City being good. We had such a good run beating Newcastle, then the real bonus of beating Liverpool as well, which was magnificent, and actually I think cost them the title in the end. I think Manchester United have won the title, and then we picked up the 3 points against Sheffield United, which secured the 5th place, obviously, as we've just seen. So this was one game too far potentially in that run of form, and we had a good attempt there, but it was kind of wasted from quite a narrow angle, wasn't it? So we'll go and make a couple of changes now. Ayling comes out with that yellow card just to protect him a little bit. We're going to change one of these central midfield 3. I think we'll bring Wilshere on for Rodrigo just as one last chance to play for him. And then we'll make an attacking wide change as well. And we'll bring Rafinha in for Costa. And those are the changes that we'll make. We'll make no other changes in terms of style of play or anything. And we'll just go back into the game. And we'll go into the shouts and demand more from them just for the last 10 minutes of the game to see if we can get any sniff at a goal at all. And maybe get one back as a consolation prize really on today's performance. And we get a chance with us down the right-hand side. Janmaat takes over down the right-hand side. Good ball from Baka, who then hopefully gets into the box because Janmaat's worked his way to the byline, gets the cross in, and there was Baka, and the header goes slightly over the top of the bar, and we don't quite manage to challenge the goalkeeper, but at least we got through to their area and had a reasonably good attempt at goal, which has been few and far between in this particular match. And there is the end of our Premier League campaign with Leeds United in this beta battle. Disappointing 3-0 loss in the end, but it didn't really matter. Well, we're going to leave it there. We won't bother giving them any form of major team talk. We'll just move on from it because our days at Leeds United are pretty much done. We finished in 5th place after 38 games on 63 points. We secured a place for Europa Cup stuff, Europa League stuff next season. We've finished higher than anybody anticipated we would. We were predicted a mid-table finish, I think, which I thought was going to be quite challenging at the beginning of the save to fulfill anyway. To get 5th is just brilliant. And the reason that we did, I think, more than anything, is if you look through this table, Chelsea, Tottenham, Leicester, Everton all struggled all the way through this season, and it opened up a couple of spots in that 5th through 7th place type of area, and we managed to find our way into it and then hang on to it, where the likes of Sheffield United found early form and then dipped off a little bit and couldn't quite hold on to it. So that is how we managed to maintain our 5th position, and a pretty special 5th position it was too. And I am absolutely certain that Bielsa, in real terms, will not better that. If he does, he deserves to win this beta battle, because that would be quite something from them. The only other thing that we could talk about is the fact that both our cup runs could potentially cause us a bit of a problem. I can't remember, if I'm totally honest recording it here, whether they've gone out of the Carabao Cup already or not, Leeds United, in real terms, but we haven't even started the FA Cup run yet, and we only got to the 4th round in that before we got dumped on by Man City again. So there's some space there for him to potentially do better in the cup competitions. But Bielsa, if you're watching, and I know that you're not, beat 5th place. I bet you can't. And that's it. That is the end of our beta battle series. The full game gets released in the next 24, 48 hours, somewhere in there. I'm not 100% exactly when it will come out. So depending on when it drops on Tuesday, if it drops on Tuesday, it depends whether I can get a video out or not. I can't guarantee it, but there'll definitely be one on Wednesday if it drops late on Tuesday, for example. So watch out for that. And we'll be doing a couple of different series that I'll tell you all about in the first episode of the first new one. So come and join me for that next episode, whatever it might be, in the next couple of days. And we'll talk all about what's coming up on the channel. But until then, thanks for joining me through the beta battle. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed our first look at Football Manager 21. I think they've done some really great things, especially with the match engine for this season. So it's going to provide us many hours of fun, I'm sure, over the coming months. So yeah, come and join me for the ride as we go through FM21. To do that, subscribe to the channel and keep up to date with all the videos that I release. Come and join my United City community. The more the merrier. You can do that in a couple of ways as well. Join me on Twitter at the United City FM, and also I've got a Discord, and all of those things are linked in the description below, along with Patreon and merchandise store. If you want to support my channel, go and check all those things out. But all I'm really interested in at this point is saying thank you for joining me today for this particular episode. Thank you for joining me for the beta series. I look forward to what's coming up in the full release of the game. I hope you do too. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.